more than it already is.
Yankum, are you good to go?
We're on the air. We just went on the air. We went on the air at not serving mixed drinks to Vikings fan will wind up in large amounts of murder.
Yeah, that's exactly what will happen.
Whatchamacallit?
By the way, future home of WrestleMania, apparently. So that's there's a thought about that if you're ever thinking.
if you want to watch the glare bouncing off of wrestlers' shaved
pretty
heads.
much. Well, fortunately, like by that time in May and April, it would be pretty dark pretty quick, so wouldn't be too long. But yeah, it probably would be a whole fuckload of glare right in your face.
Imagine the entire crowd being blinded by the glare off of Sheamus.
They'll have to
blinded by the glare. They'd wonder why there was a ghost. Or how well whatchamacallit, hologram technology has come along, because fuck, man. Couldn't tell the fucking difference. Yeah, Doug, you want to put us in West, man?
Dude, I'm not even there right now.
Huh?
I'm not even there right now.
Alright, I got it. Never mind.
Yeah, it's just a classic Vikings thing to spend a fucking $1 billion on a stadium and it's still a disaster.
Oh, fuck me!
What?
I scrolled down to the Happy Trails.
I don't know, all this stuff about stadiums, and every city's got to have a new one now. And I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's one thing to build a new stadium, but they all seem just ridiculous and ugly and over the top.
And one more thing while I'm at it. Apparently, the big concerts there, like Metallica, was okay, but otherwise the acoustics are fucking awful. So if it's not really, really loud metal music, you're probably just going to have shitty acoustic.
I'm still bitter about the whole thing in Indianapolis. First, they changed it from the Hoosier Dome to the fucking RCA
That one
Dome.
for Atlanta that looks like Megatron's anus.
I'm going to Google Megatron's anus right now.
The new Atlanta, Butthole Stadium. It literally has a roof that closes. It's like 7 or 8 triangles or something, and it just like closes in on itself.
Oh god.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
That stadium's going to be fucking preposterous.
Oh, that is fugly. What the fuck?
It's also very close to being done. I think that's supposed to open like next year. I'm almost positive.
Who's it for?
Falcons and the new MLS team in Atlanta.
I think it's Atlanta FC or something like that.
That soccer is a thing in America still baffles me, but whatever.
Go fuck yourself, man. Minnesota United FC in MLS. Can't fucking wait.
It's baffling to me.
It's going to be the greatest thing of all time.
Like, it's fine that other people like it. I just really, really don't understand soccer.
I'd rather have rugby be a thing in the US.
Are we on the air?
We're in West. We're going to be in West here in a second.
Dude, pro rugby. There's a 5-team pro rugby coming out.
Fantastic. I would watch the fuck
That's
out of
happening.
That.
I know.
That's happening
there's more
next
teams.
year. They need about 12 more teams, honestly. 5 is not nearly enough.
Oh, dear Jesus. All right, straight shooting, guys. This is episode 223. Hey, Yankum, play the music. Let's see if it works.
Don't make me do it.
Play it.
I don't want to play it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it totally worked.
Totally worked.
Totally. Yay.
Totally.
That didn't fail at all.
Nope. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 223 of Smark Snark. My name's Gunnar. That's Omega BR.
When the Redskins get their new stadium, we can have WrestleMania there and have a moat match.
Do you think Tatanka would be sure to be booked?
Oh, I'm sure of it. I'll take one look at that. He'll have Shane jumping off the end of the glass mountain climbing range.
Do you think Tatanka will want to wrestle there?
That is joke. Yankee DDS not getting it, just like he's not getting his audio sounds over the board, or over the waves completely correctly.
Suck my dick.
Ew. Gotta find it first. Also joining us this week is Vassar.
What?
Exactly. And straight shooting from the other side of Vassar is Courtney.
Hello. It's currently typing furiously.
Obviously. Netchester's here. He was here.
Oh, good. He's gone.
Yes. Samus Dog
is here. How's it going, everybody? Speaking of, every new stadium comes WrestleMania, so get used to that too.
Yep. Because you want to put the biggest segment in when it's like looking the best and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and then plus, like, why the fuck else would you bring Mania to fucking Minnesota in the middle of winter? That's a terrible idea.
Right. All right, everybody. You can check us out online. Let's see here. You can 812-408-9666 if you want to call in. Skype name is Sirius Podcast. Patreon.com/SmarkSnark. And that number again was 812-408-9666. 812-408.
Woo, that's all you get because you were just botching left and right. It's like being in the ring with fucking Seth Rollins.
We're listening to Michael Cole.
This weekend has been so weird, man. It's not even funny. Like I don't remember a WrestleMania weekend or a Summerslam weekend or any weekend in wrestling this weird since like Punk left.
I resemble that remark.
This was way bigger than anything that happened on Mania weekend. All of the stuff that happened this weekend.
Oh god, yeah. So let's get to the big one. The Observer reports Chris Jericho got into a huge blow-up with Brock Lesnar at the end of SummerSlam out of concern for Randy Orton. While there were multiple accounts, Jericho asked Michael Hayes at Gorilla Position if it was planned finish and was met with silence, causing him to be upset and call bullshit. Lesnar heard this as he came through the curtain, believing he was talking about the match, told Jericho to mind his business and called him several names that, quote, could get him in trouble if they came out. The two men did tangling against a wall, with Lesnar reportedly telling him to either punch him or kiss him. Triple H broke them up while Vince McMahon yelled it was all a work. Neither man faces punishment for the incident, and several people at Raw described Jericho as a badass for going toe-to-toe with Lesnar.
Okay, now before we go any further, I have to get this out there. Do you think Michael Hayes was in on the finish, or do you think Michael was just being a punk by not telling Jericho? Because he could have cooled that situation within 2 seconds if he told Jericho what was going on.
I think Michael Hayes' involvement in the finish wasn't necessary. He may or may not have known. Michael might have just been busy and not paying attention to Jericho.
I was going to say, I think Hayes has a position at Gorilla where he's kind of got to be talking throughout the broadcast, and that broadcast still went on after Lesnar left.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hayes and McMahon and probably one or two other people at Gorilla, and Meltzer kind of speculated that, nobody's really told about Lesnar finishes. They're kept kind of secretive. The idea was Lesnar was going to win, but nobody really knew how. Maybe Hayes was keeping quiet because of that, or maybe he just was distracted, or, presumably this happened at the end of the match, obviously. Nobody was going to leak it as it was happening. So Hayes could have said something, but, who knows. Apparently it was the finish that was supposed to happen. They discussed it the day of. Orton came in Sunday thinking they were going to have a regular match, and then they told him basically that Lesnar was going to cut him open and that he knew how to throw elbows to do that. And, but I mean, the finish itself is just, everybody was speculating on it, which is what they wanted, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, outside of a wellness violation or a death or something, a finish like that is about as shocking a work as you can do right now, given their abject fear of blood and that entire thing as of late.
Well, obviously, Lesnar probably called him a faggot, right? Like, what else would Lesnar have called him that would have
pushy, faggot,
fit Jericho and would have gotten him in trouble? I don't think it would have even hurt his image, really, because that's not his image.
Well, even though he lives in Canada, a bunch of derogatory Canadian things. I don't know. If you can make fun
I know
of
what it
Canadians.
is. He called him a snow spick.
Whoa!
Jesus Christ.
Whoa, this is a family show, Gunner.
Is that even
right?
I also just want to say that I love the idea of Michael Hayes playing Peacekeeper to fucking anything. I highly doubt that would have happened, even if he tried.
I love the idea of Vince McMahon yelling, "It's a work, it's a work." Somebody was in the room at the second. Oh my god, I would love that. I would just love to hear that.
I think that's part of some of that old culture of WWE that's still around that is probably never going to leave. Like, there's got to be some things that even the other stars don't know because so much shit gets leaked.
Right. I don't know. I think that this was like the one like wrapped up incident at SummerSlam. I didn't think that one was pretty much, that one pretty much explained itself. I don't think that there's anything going to come of it. I don't think anybody's going to be butthurt about it. I think that it's just, it was a thing. It happened. It was a misunderstanding, and everybody can go their separate ways now. No heat. Thank God. All right, moving on. Eva Marie tested positive for Adderall. Same reason that Roman Reigns was suspended. She claims that she had a prescription but didn't turn in the proper paperwork in time to WWE doctors. It's unknown that ADR and Paige got popped for, only that it wasn't the same thing. While Del Rio has his out clause coming in the coming month, Paige still has years left on her deal. And apparently Lesnar failed UFC's 200 drug tests, spurred with a new round of testing, resulting in these suspensions. Okay, so basically Brock getting popped got everybody else popped. Not surprising. Terribly.
Whole lot of late onset ADHD showing up in the roster out of nowhere. Kind of crazy how that works out. Kind of crazy how when you work a crazy schedule, you need a little something to keep you up.
Yeah, you got to keep that focus. Got to keep your drive going.
You got to stay up for 3-4 days straight between shows.
How they were prescribed it by their doctor, but it wasn't told to WWE. Why the fuck would you not tell it to WWE? Because they'd probably be fine with it.
It sounds to me, to be perfectly honest, like Eva Marie's just stupid and couldn't fucking fill out the paperwork in time.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they would take Adderall. Like, these guys could just walk into a doctor and be like, "Hey, I need Adderall."
Yeah,
somebody knows a doctor.
She needed it for same reason Roman needed it for study for her promo.
Yeah, I don't get these guys though, because how long have we been talking about these guys going and they get prescribed whatever the fuck they want painkiller wise and shit, because somebody knows a doctor who will prescribe that shit, and then. Fucking really?
Anyway,
they couldn't get a prescription.
Nikki Bella being back on SmackDown, I guess. Let's talk about that for a second, because
do we have to?
Nikki's the face, and Carmella. They turned Carmella presumably heel, so that Nikki could be the face.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to talk and bitch about too. Turning Carmella heel just so Little Miss Oh, this is going to make me so pissed I can hardly even talk. But it is a very stupid idea to take one of your hottest, freshest, newest faces and turn her heel just so somebody who a lot of people can't stand can get over.
I like that.
Nikki Bella is already over, and that's the problem. She needed to just stay the fuck away. Continue sucking John's dick and buying Prada shoes,
that's right.
Just not fucking come back.
Well, he's going to be. Well, I mean, she apparently her deal is part-time now.
Well, I guess she wanted to be maybe this was her call. Maybe she wanted to be a good guy instead of she's not with Brie anymore, obviously.
Then why did she come out?
She kind of got the standard return pop everybody gets, no matter what affiliation they are.
She came out with the fucking heel team at SummerSlam.
My biggest problem with this is they're kind of, they talk about the women's revolution and all that, but I still feel like the Bellas represent the old style that they're trying to kind of purge out of our systems. It's kind of weird.
Yep.
They're kind of embracing this, but they're saying like, oh, it's a new era, but we're going to have to kind of job you a little bit. Sorry.
Well, there's a reason, obviously, that the Bellas kind of became the premier stars of the division, but I agree with you. And that's also the same logic as to why when Sasha Banks has to step out, they don't go with an Alicia Fox or a Summer Rae to step up to the plate, rather than, bringing in somebody else.
And his name is John Cena!
Now go the fuck away with that bullshit.
It just seems to me that that it's not terribly surprising, and actually I like the Carmella turn. I think it adds a new dimension to her character, and that she needs to actually explore. So hopefully she'll get some time to do that while the other girl is out on injury, while Sasha's out on injury, so you can even things out and that kind of thing.
I'll actually agree with you there, just because I feel like Carmella was sort of she wasn't getting a chance to be herself. She wasn't getting the mic and doing her whole NXT shtick. So if she gets to start doing that as a heel, then which she kind of was a heel at first, wasn't she? And everybody kind of disliked her.
I think so.
Back when she was kind of the third wheel to Enzo and Cass, and then people started to warm up to her.
They didn't really warm up to her until Enzo and Cass were onto the main roster, and of course, debuting on the pay-per-view match or anything like that. Because the women's division kind of fell off a little bit because they had so many exits. So she kind of came to the home plate of a women's division in NXT. But the thing is that SmackDown has a significantly better female roster right now than Raw, not counting Bayley. Before Bayley, SmackDown was significantly better, but Carmella being heel doesn't really help anything because she was a good face talent as opposed to, like in Natalya and Alexa Bliss. You had a really good balance there of, basically 3 heels, 3 faces. It would have worked out just fine, but I don't get it.
I think that it's ridiculous that, you would even consider Raw's roster at this point to be anything worth a damn. I think SmackDown's show and roster is quite far superior, and I think that you're going to see in the next month or two that there isn't going to be much time for. You're going to watch Raw and you're going to be bored the whole time. And then you watch SmackDown and you're going to be like begging for more. And and the two polar opposites are going to, contrast.
Well, that's kind of, I think I said this last week. That's kind of the dynamic that I've been seeing is with Raw, it being 3 hours, they're always filling time with the same kind of matches. Like the same kind of core of our mid-carders are having these extended matches, 15, 20-minute matches to help fill the time. And there's nothing wrong with that, and they're always good matches. But, it's very much more of the same. Whereas on SmackDown, I feel like no segment goes longer than like 7 minutes. And, no match goes longer than 5. And then, I am wanting more, but it's because they're rushing through the show to get everybody on, and things aren't really. I think it feels like they kind of have to do the thing where, everybody was upset American Alpha didn't debut on the first SmackDown, but then it's almost that logic where if one team or one person or one segment isn't on the show, you got to push it to next week just to make every segment a little bit more fleshed out and everything. And in that way, you actually stretch out the shows too, because remember, now they have 7 more pay-per-views to build towards. So you know what I mean. Not everybody can be on the show and have a 2-minute segment and then expect us to care about it.
I mean, it's like this show, for example. We have 2 shows worth of content. I mean, this podcast I'm talking about specifically. We have 2 shows worth of content that we have to talk about here because, of so much being produced over the weekend. I think I single-handedly watched 25 hours of wrestling this weekend. Just, at least. And that's WWE, New Japan, and, if you want to count UFC too, because goddamn, that Conor fight was a work. If whatchamacallit, and then you throw in, what did I watch? I watched ROH, and
Death by Dishonor was amazing.
I was bored to tears.
What? Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. All right.
No, I was bored to tears throughout because. All right, we're gonna move on here.
Yeah,
we'll get into other stuff for the weekend later on. But the Dudley Boys are now once again free agents, and their goodbye on Raw was legitimate. While they hadn't agreed on terms for a new deal, the 2 sides amicably agreed to part ways. Probably because they're in their mid-40s and they want to go do something else. So maybe they'll actually go fight the Bullet Club like they wanted to 2 years ago.
I'm hoping that they've still got some kind of Legends deal where they can just show up.
Yeah. All right.
Is that the
best of luck to them?
Does anyone know anything more specific about their contract? Could WWE still say, "Hey, we're having the Royal Rumble. Do you guys want to?"
All right. So speaking of Sasha Banks,
well, fuck you then.
She dropped the women's championship over nagging
Suck my
back
dick.
issues and will hopefully only be out a month or so.
One report pointed to September 23rd to her return, which would be that would be almost Tuesday, because I believe September 21st is Clash of Champions, I think. See, no, that wouldn't be right, because this Backlash is September 11th, and 14 days later you have Clash of Champions, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so it would be 25th, so 23rd, that would be the Friday. Okay, so she should be back by Clash of Champions, so that might be interesting, if that's true.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
So this thing isn't working now?
I can hear you.
Well, no, fuck you, Omega BR.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yankov's not even showing up on my dash here. I thought we had a bunch of dead air.
Oh,
Dead air.
Dead air. Speaking
Can you
of,
hear him now? Because
he's not even lighting up on my thing.
Oh dear Lord, Omega, you might want to connect and reconnect.
Yeah.
You guys are
WC, god damn it!
All right, let's do the Finn Balor thing.
All right.
Finn Balor had successful shoulder surgery, and while it was noted his injury was more severe than usual, he's expected to be out 4 to 6 months. Also, Sasha Banks dropped the Women's Championship over nagging back.
Okay, now I can.
And will hopefully only be out for a month or so. Samoa Joe suffered a dislocated jaw, and Austin Aries suffered a ruptured eardrum at TakeOver. Randy Orton needed 10 staples to close his head wound.
What?
Holy fuck, dude.
Poor
All these fucking injuries, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that go to sleep by Hideo to Tommy really put a number on Aries. Oh man,
What?
that was a nice pop. Yeah.
What? Yeah, no, that was I'm surprised by all of these injuries, to be perfectly honest with you. Samoa Joe's injury doesn't seem that severe, but the Austin Aries one, it was like, oh, whoops. And then Finn's is like, why? You can see exactly where he did it too, and they stopped it on Raw to show you where he did it too. And I'm like, well, why would you do that?
5 times.
How unsafe Seth Rollins is? Why? I would highlight that.
We had a poll in West, and it was very simple. It's not that he's unsafe; it's that he has one unsafe move, and that's that fucking buckle power bomb that he can't do right.
Right.
And this is nothing. And I saw people making the argument that this is somehow Finn's fault. How the hell is Finn? If he didn't put his arm out, the back of his head was going to smack that railing. Yeah. That would have been way worse.
That's stupid.
And I'd also argue that, like, he threw it out by instinct, because when you take a buckle bomb, you're generally thrown into a corner, and you got to throw your arms out so you go against the ropes. It's like,
exactly.
I could see why Finn did it. It's
Yeah, I'm not shouldered back in and finished the match, which is like the brutal hardcore part about it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. It happened toward the first part of the match too.
There's a lot of people. Certain sites are saying, the move should be banned and all that, but it's not that the move should be banned. It's just it was a decent spot idea, but it was just executed completely wrong.
Right. I think Rollins is a big enough guy to be doing that.
Well, I'm not one for banning moves, but I think they should ease off on the buckles or the bombs outside of the mat. Because there's the buckle bomb, and then there's the bomb onto the barricade, and then. Next thing you know, they're going to do one against that. Yeah, against that LED turnbuckle pole.
Another thing I'm wondering, as a side note, is that they're using new barricades and a new ring structure. I'm not sure if these barricades are tighter or stronger reinforced than kind of more the slack style for the TV tapings. It looks a little bit tighter in terms of rigid in structure. So I'm not sure if there's less give when he landed against that as opposed to the typical barricade. I'm not sure about that. It might just be a different look, but that might have had something to do with it as well. But there's no factual information regarding that theory at all.
How did you guys like those LED posts?
They look beautiful.
Yeah.
I hope they use those a lot more.
I love the new stage. I love the new stage. LOVE, love the new stage.
I like how Cesaro took advantage of the flat spot on top of the LED ring posts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love the new stages too, but here's the thing. I don't think they're different enough. If they're really going with the SummerSlam setup for Raw and then shoving those little rectangles to the side and centering the Tron for SmackDown, I don't think it's different enough. I would have preferred that they gave that set to SmackDown and kept Raw with the big arc and the two big towers.
Right. That would have been nicer, but I guess they got rid of the arc because they've been using it for the past 8 years or just about.
And I like the LED buckles too, but at the same time I'm like, this is cool the first time, and then it seems like kind of pointless.
Right. All right. So next news bit is the Daniel Bryan and Miz segment from Talking Smack. Okay, so I have 2 points of views on this. Either Miz is right or Miz is wrong. Go down the line here, and we'll talk about what you guys thought about the particular segment, and if he was right or if he was wrong, and I'll weigh in at the end.
So is he right or is he wrong about Daniel Bryan, or is he right or is he wrong about himself?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that cleared things up.
No.
Maybe.
He's wrong.
I don't know.
Could you repeat the question?
Okay. Whose side are you on? Daniel Bryan's or Miz?
Well...
And why?
In that particular exchange, I would have to say Miz. Because a lot of what he says is true, as far as him being the Intercontinental Champion, and they did want to bring prestige back to it. And then Brian kind of acts like, I have respect for the title, but not for the guy who wears it. Therefore, trickle down, that means the title kind of gets the shaft. He gave respect to Apollo Crews, even though Crews lost pretty blatantly at, Marie's interfered, but, Crews wasn't even on the show, nor was Miz, which kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about some people having to be left off. But, I think it kind of started out as, their typical back and forth, and then it kind of switched gears into some personal stuff, and it went a little bit farther than I think either man intended it to. But I'd have to say, as far as purely what was said, I think Miz probably definitely had the edge.
Well, Miz was absolutely correct in everything he said. The idea that Miz should go out there and do the stuff that those indie guys are doing is patently ridiculous. He very likely couldn't do those things because he was never trained to do that kind of stuff. He was trained to wrestle the WWE style, which is why, like he said, he's been wrestling for a decade and hasn't had to spend 6 months, a year and a half out with some kind of serious injury. And the other thing is, why would Brian even say something like you wrestle like a coward, like you're afraid to get hit? It's just beyond me. Didn't Brian go through the same training like after when he came to the WWE? Didn't they say, hey, this is the WWE style that we do so that you're not constantly getting fucked up every time you step in the ring?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
I can't believe for a second that there's too much in the way of auxiliary training for people who have already come in off the indie scene, who've been on it for years, like Dick Butt was, and they try to teach you a whole new thing all over again.
Right.
Well, that's the thing about this whole exchange that makes it so amazing to see, is the fact that it's so polarizing. Because every single thing that was said, you really kind of have to double take and think, well, is that him? Is that how he really feels, or is he just saying that because that's the character? Because
I wholeheartedly believe.
I think it's both.
I wholeheartedly believe that he believes exactly what he just said, and I wholeheartedly believe that him as a person wanted to say that for a very long time about the people, people that wanted to talk about him, myself included in that. And I have a completely different opinion that hasn't been said yet on this, so I just want y'all to keep talking.
Well, I've been saying for years that the Miz is going to be the next Jericho. He's going to be your talent enhancement guy that they bring in whenever they want to get somebody over. That's going to be your guy that does that. Miz has not been one of the
guy his entire career.
Well, I mean, he's not one of the best wrestlers, which that's not something that you can say about Jericho. But his mic skills, his in-ring work is good enough. I don't understand why he gets shit on. He's a mid-card guy.
Because he's never learned a new move in 10 years.
He's a mid-card enhancement talent.
Would it, at the same time,
to do?
Would it kill him to improve his ring psychology a little bit? And it's still pretty good. And learn some new moves. Like he has such a limited moveset that the majority of matches are punches and kicks. I understand it's not just him. But it's been him for a decade, and he hasn't improved in that facet.
How much has Cena improved in the last decade? How many new moves has John Cena broke out in the last decade?
In the last year, he's broken out a fuckload of new moves.
There were some new ones at SummerSlam, as I recall.
Yes. There was. I mean, he's
what about the springboard stunner?
How well?
No.
Okay.
How about the Cena can't Rana? How about the Cena can't Rana? That went over real
At
well.
least he tries. At least he tries to bust out a Hurricane.
Let me say this.
Miz doesn't even try, and that's a safe fucking move, too. it's not that hard to give a Hurricane Rana in comparison to, like, I understand Daniel Bryan wrestled a very, very aggressive style, but he's somewhat right. Miz is out there, and everything looks so fucking fake when he does it, except for when he talks, which is why he's such a good talker.
There's the start of it right there. There's the big linchpin in his argument. Everything looks fake as fuck when you're Miz. I mean, skull crushing finale, worst finisher in the business. Period. Anybody.
It's the reverse choke slam. That's the worst finish in the business.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's damn near the same thing, really.
Yeah.
All Miz has to do is learn to catch.
I think part of it, honestly, is much like Triple H will always carry the stigma of being the boss's daughter's husband. I think Miz kind of carries that stigma of being the schmo from the real world who got a bunch of Diva Search phone numbers wrong and somehow made it to the WWE title. I think a lot of people to this day look down on him as that sort of, you're not supposed to be here type of character.
With a whole lot of, implied there, because that's the kind of person that he is. All right, so here's the thing about this, and I've formulated this in my head ever since he came up with that argument, and in my mind, when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, Miz, promo of the year. This guy is like on fire, man. That's the promo of his fucking life right there, and he just fucking shot like a motherfucker. And I was like, oh my god, where's my head? It's blown clean off, that kind of thing. And I was impressed. That's more fire than he's ever spat, ever since his WrestleMania video segment. I mean, that segment right there and this are the two defining promos of Miz's career, to be perfectly honest.
You mean from 27?
Yes. Yeah.
That's still one of the best intros to a match ever.
Yes. Absolutely. Completely agree. However, the basis of his argument is incorrect. What he's trying to say is that I've been here for 10 years. Yeah, what have you done? What have you done, man? A bunch of straight-to-DVD films? What, you're still Mike the Miz Mizanin, who was the guy on MTV. You're still trying to be that reality star, the guy who thinks that he can transfer over when, he's not anywhere close to being The Rock, where he has nowhere near the charisma of The Rock. But anytime that Vince is like, hey, you want to star in a shitty movie? Sure, I'll star in a shitty movie, and I'll pretend with my girlfriend that I live in Hollywood because I am completely disingenuous. This is why he looks fake, guys. He is completely and 100% disingenuous at what he does. He is his personality comes off as disingenuous. Wrong. But I'm right, because look at his moveset. What has he put forward toward the wrestling business beyond the fact of being a hand and being there, that he's done of significance? I would argue that Daniel Bryan's time in the WWE will be infinitely more significant than Miz's that Miz's contributions to this business will not line up to anything that they've done. They've both headlined WrestleMania. Which one do you remember first? Daniels. Which one has more significant? Who brought the more realistic, not kayfabe killing here, wrestling style to the business? Bryan. Who opened the door for a small guy to actually win the WWE title? Bryan.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you?
That's where he started.
Maybe in the modern era.
In the modern era, a 200-pound guy can win the belt. I didn't feel that way when Miz did it. I didn't feel that way when Miz did from Randy Orton. Right, but I didn't feel like Miz opened the door to smaller guys being like,
no, hey, because Rey Mysterio opened the door to smaller guys.
I wouldn't say smaller. I would say guys you would never think would ever touch that belt.
More realistic, I would say, to be perfectly honest. A more realistic guy as opposed to some 6'2", 220-pound giant is what I mean. I don't necessarily mean like smaller, like Mysterio.
And here's where you're saying, I mean, I can't with you right now when you're like this. The Miz has plenty of accomplishments in the WWE.
Well, what impact does he? What impact?
He's a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, a 2-time United States Champion, once with the world title, 4 times with a tag team, or 6 times with a tag team, Money in the Bank, a Triple Crown winner, a Grand Slam champion, 2-time Slammy Award winner, and this is the guy that they're pushing into all their shitty direct-to-DVD movies for a reason. Like, he
says yes? Because he bends over?
No, he's a company man, and there's nothing wrong with being a company man. There's nothing wrong with being the guy that they go to and they say, hey, I need you to do this. Will you do it? And he's like, fuck yeah, because that's what you need to fucking do. That's how you get ahead in the WWE.
But here's my point. Here's my point, and you're proving it for me here. My point is the fact that it's quality over quantity, and the fact that Daniel has brought more quality wrestling to the business in his time in the WWE than Miz will ever do. I mean, it's like saying that. Okay, all right. I bet you like Bret Hart too.
I do like Bret Hart. I don't think he was one of the best talkers in the world. I think he was a great ring technician, and I think that he did contribute.
Reverse Bret Hart. Miz is reverse Bret Hart.
I can see that. I can really see that.
And Bret Hart.
But the problem,
everyone remembers Bret Hart. Bret Hart was someone that will be remembered in the business for a very long time, and not just for the screw job, but the matches that he put on. So if the Miz goes on and he never has a 5-star fucking match, fine. But if he's remembered as one of the best talkers in the business ever, there's nothing wrong with that either. Fucking Jimmy Hart never put on a 5-star match, but everybody remembers Jimmy Hart, and everybody knows who the fuck he is, because he's one of the best talkers that was ever in the business.
Right. Miz is nowhere near the best talker in the business.
Right now? Did you not?
He had one promo, and it was good.
And it's gonna get better. I'm telling you.
Man, people got fucking worked over this thing.
Well, yeah.
Oh my god!
Right,
everyone did.
Hold on! Stop right there! Stop right there! No! All right, dog. I got a real big problem with you saying that, because that's like saying, and I don't care if I'm stealing this from Squared Circle. It's everybody needs to realize that if you're an asshole and you sit there and you say, "Oh man, everybody got worked by this," good. Everybody
it is good, but it's amazing how real everyone is taking this when it's on this show that's very clearly supposed to be part of the greater SmackDown brand and building the kayfabe of it.
But when you actually put across something that's believable, then people are going to talk about it. And this is the first believable thing Miz has done in his entire career.
And we still don't know how much of it is kayfabe and how much of it was actual shoot.
I think it was a little bit of both.
Tell me that wasn't a shoot. I don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Miz isn't that good of an actor.
What I have to say about it is Brian told Miz that he wrestles like a coward, which is perfectly in line with the idea that Miz is a coward. He is a chicken shit. He wants to steal his belts and get cheating. Miz told Brian that he let everybody down, and he promised them he would come back and win the belt, and instead he retired, which is perfectly in line with Miz being a heel and acting like, Brian, you're a nobody, you're the underdog, I'm the A-lister. So as much of a shoot as I believe that promo turned into, that's the beauty part. Everything that was said fits perfectly into their narrative that they built really since the beginning in NXT, when Brian became Miz's protege, and then John Morrison, smacks Miz on the back of the head and says, "Man, he knows more about wrestling than you do," and laughs about it. Like we all were supposed to laugh about it. Just like Laycool teaching Caval.
Right.
Oh my God! Don't remind me about that, please.
I just want to clear up something. I'm not I'm happy that everyone had this reaction to it because it's the best thing that Miz has done in a very long time. But what this is to me, and looking at it, is like they have been trying to establish this show since the first week, and they kept running that Daniel Bryan joke about the Universal title, and which wasn't really that big of a deal, and no one gave a shit. They needed an angle to build this show into something that people tune into it. Because you bet your ass that USA is looking at this and going, do we need to give both these shows 3 hours? What are they going to do with that? So,
and then they could do this with that, and that's a perfectly good idea. And a Talking Dead. I'm just saying, a Talking Dead ripoff is perfectly fine for WWE, especially when it comes after SmackDown on Tuesdays, because that's the end of your wrestling week. That's when you can talk about everything, and then that's when you can actually open up the rest of the week.
To me, I just saw this whole thing as like they finally got their angle to get this show where they want it, and that's clearly the direction they want to take it. So good for them. I'm just incredibly amazed at how much reaction it got for a show that no one gave a shit before this.
Right. Well, I mean, this is what they needed for people to give a shit about it, and I think people will for a while now. If it continues to be like this, then you can expect them to get a lot more viewership than what they were getting before.
Yeah, the very best thing they can do right now is this Tuesday. They're going to talk about this Monday and Tuesday, of course. And the best thing they could do on Tuesday is have the Miz show, or whatever it's called, and get Dolph Ziggler out there and get those two pieces of heat together, and they'll just have a firestorm. And they'll carry that to Backlash, and they'll have an amazing match. And then Brian will say, you have to defend the title, and it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a good showing for Ziggler. It's going to be a good showing for Miz. Everybody wins.
I would disagree, actually. I would trade Miz for Rusev. On Monday night, I would just trade Miz for Rusev. Just right there. Just, have Brian show up and trade Miz for Rusev, because both are unhappy on their respective shows. Both want to transfer shows. And, after that particular incident, I could see that happening completely.
Oh, and that would give Miz's character a reason to be even more angry that he was traded off of the show. Oh yeah, I like that idea. Let's get into the.
Remember, he only drafted Miz because they drafted Rusev first,
right?
So he had to draft Miz.
You know what would be even? He would have to trade Miz and somebody else to get Rusev.
If you're going to be,
can we not thin out the SmackDown roster more, please?
No, but what I'm saying is, you do. Like fucking Heath Slater or some shit. Somebody fucking so far down the roster it doesn't really matter that much. You trade Miz and that person for Rusev. And then
like
Miz
a real sport.
Miz is put in with that fucking person and traded for fucking Rusev, and then he's even more mad.
Right.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Let's do the time limit. There's no time limit on this one because we've got 2 fucking pay-per-views to go over.
All right, so let's blow through these quick. Aries and Noe Jose from Takeover. We're talking about Takeover right now. I thought this match was kind of sloppy. I didn't think it was either man's fault.
It was sloppy.
Aries going over made sense.
I thought this was a fun match. I thought this was definitely No Way Jose's big first match, and he really performed pretty well. It was a bit sloppy, but it's 2 guys who have never wrestled each other before on a big stage, some nerve. I thought it was a great match, though.
Yeah, it was a nice warm-up for the show, and especially post-match when the Tommy came out and just lit the crowd on fire. It took off from there.
Ember Moon defeated Billie Kay. I have never been more bored with a wrestler than Billie Kay.
I thought you were going to say Ember Moon, because Ember Moon is fucking fantastic.
Yes.
She's still really green right now. I get that, but I see a lot of potential in her. I think she's going to be one of the best in the women's roster when she's more experienced in the ring. That fuck.
Dude, if she's green, then the rest of that the women's roster on NXT is fucking neon.
The problem.
So I just got one question. Go ahead.
You could have asked your question instead of just saying, I got one question.
Oh, I thought I heard you say go ahead. But anyway, my question was, if she's going to permanently wrestle with those freaking contacts in, isn't that going to hurt her in some way, isn't that going to hurt her in some way, shape, or form?
They probably wouldn't let her do it if it would. Two, she probably wouldn't do it if they bothered her that much, because it would, fuck with her ability to actually wrestle.
They're exactly the same. They're exactly the same as any regular contact. They just have a die in the spot where you can't really see out of anyway.
I just thought she looked like female Roland from Twilight.
And doesn't Kane wrestle with a one contact in?
Roman Reigns wrestles with contacts in.
I was going to say Roman Reigns has contacts too.
No.
Somebody did.
Kane.
Somebody did wear those contacts and said they had to stop wearing them because. But I think they were like all black, and that was the reason why.
That was Mysterio then.
No, it was. I think it was somebody in TNA actually, and they came out with the all black contacts, and they finally had to stop wearing them because they couldn't see quite as good.
Well, yeah. All black contact. Probably you're not going to be able to see very well. Also, contact technology has.
We're going to move on. We're talking about contacts. Bobby Roode defeated CN. God, what a clash of styles. Not in the good way.
What a glorious entrance.
You bastard!
There's literally no other word to describe it. It was just perfect.
You just did though. You just used perfect.
I think it's from what I heard, his NXT one is better.
Oh god, the NXT one that they just had is going to be awesome apparently. So I'll be looking forward to watching that. But yeah, does anybody else have anything to say about this match?
I would like to say that the Glorious Bomb, which is a standard pump handle drop, needs to be changed to a pump handle slam over the shoulder. It's opened up to more reversal spots, and it's going to sell a lot better than your standard pump handle drop.
You know what also would have been great is if he had ever used or teased that move before he did it in that match, because no one had any fucking idea what was going on in the crowd, and then all of a sudden he won, and it was just like kind of weird to do that when he has the fisherman's, and they didn't even do that in the match.
Yeah, pump handle drop really isn't, like the defining move to win the match is kind of what I'm going on as well. Like a slam style, a front slam over the shoulder that, kind of puts a punctuation mark or something like that on the end of that match. That's the problem.
It's a finisher for somebody who tends to work superstars or main event, or for one of the women, one of the.
I'm just reminded of Test.
Yeah, it was Test. It's one of those moves that's evolved into a regular move. Like you really can't use it as a finisher anymore because it just doesn't get used in the repertoire. Although I'm glad they recycled Bad News Barrett's forklift.
I thought it was a scissor lift.
Well, whatever. Cherry picker or whatever.
Oh, dear Jesus.
No, a cherry picker is a completely different thing.
It is. By the way, I just linked a picture from Instagram from Triple H's Instagram. Goddamn, HBK looks really old.
Someone must do that.
Jesus Christ. But moving on. Revival defeated Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa by submission to retain the NXT Tag Team titles. Goddamn, you put the Revival in an NXT Tag title match and they just kind of win it. It just keeps happening.
This match was fucking excellent.
that match was fantastic. And I thought for sure that Ciampa or Gargano. I thought Ciampa was going to turn on Gargano, but he didn't. So I don't know. It was so good. That whole match was fantastic.
If they're not going to win the tag titles, that's the match you put on because they look strong as fuck coming out of it. And so do the Revival out of all this. I mean, they look amazing. I don't know why they're not. They've got to be coming up to the main roster soon because they're so thin on tag teams, and they're so good.
The problem is they'd have to come up to Raw, and that's kind of a weird kind of mix right now on Raw in terms of tag teams.
Yep. Well, I could see somebody going over to from SmackDown to Raw, and then up to SmackDown,
or just getting rid of the Ascension because they've done nothing for years.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
That's not the Ascension's fault at all, though. That's
true.
Yeah,
they got to have somebody hold those NXT titles for longer than them so they can stop saying that they were the longest-running NXT Tag Champions.
To me, this result just screams that WWE is about to realize, oh shit, we got a Cruiserweight title and division coming up. We got like 4 guys for it. We're fucked. So I bet money that Gargano and Ciampa are coming up to the main roster for that Cruiserweight division.
The one I was watching CWC earlier, and speaking of upbringings and bringing people up, there's an accidental label as Swan as an NXT competitor. I'm not sure if that was just a mistake or some kind of potential spoiler. I thought that was kind of funny. Even though he's a great competitor, and that's probably going to be...
No, he's been wrestling for NXT for a little while now.
Oh, really? Oh, all right. That's my mistake then. But
all right, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. Asuka versus Bayley. Asuka defeating Bayley to retain the NXT Women's Championship. Bayley debuting on Raw. It's really nice when your best friend goes out for a back injury, huh?
And it's also really nice when you're wrestling with somebody you intentionally drop them on the turnbuckle in one of the worst botches of the night.
Oh, dear Jesus. Sasha's neck.
That was terrible. That was just...
Sasha's neck. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Jesus Christ. Smash, though.
Well, the whole reason that spot happened is because they were trying to be better than this match, and it wasn't going to be better than this match.
Nope.
Hard-hitting as fuck. I can't believe it. It doesn't surprise me at Asuka, but Bayley, like, just how hard she can hit is very, very impressive.
Yeah, I was kind of, live tweeting during Billie Kay because I was complaining about how bad Billie Kay's striking is. Her vertical ability is terrible as well. And then you look at this match, it's just perfect, savage strikes. And this was just like the staple of how they should be wrestling instead of just this crappy style that, no one can really get right except for Asuka, Bayley, and Daria Berenato, which was also last week, but not pertaining to this, but just on the topic of really good striking, hard-hitting striking. It's just, oh, man. It was a really nice, violent match.
Yeah, and it's exactly what a women's match should be. And
exactly.
And if it's anything less, it's just kind of like, at this point, because you can see the women go at it with that veracity and with that set of skill. It's if you as a guy who was 6'2", 220 and you took a shot from Bayley that night or Asuka that night, you would be knocked the fuck out. Period. And I enjoyed it, but the match I enjoyed the most, obviously, with the killer entrance and the wonderful psychology. Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Samoa Joe to win the NXT Championship.
Oh my god, that Shinsuke entrance.
That was wonderful. I can't wait for his WrestleMania entrance.
I was going to say it felt WrestleMania-esque. It was really special, and it was so fucking cool. Like, and he's the only one that could pull that off, too.
Yes.
Maybe, if Cena had one lone dude playing violin, that'd just be funny, though. Shinsuke made it, badass and cool, and that's impressive.
One of the things I'm hoping that comes out of this match result is that Samoa Joe, during the interview with Byron, when they were sitting in the same room, Shinsuke and Samoa Joe, he kind of hinted at Rico. He's like, maybe I'm maybe Regal's out to get me to peel my title away. I'm hoping they kind of go with that, and that kind of becomes a thing post-championship coming up this next week. Unfortunately, they didn't do it this week, but I'm hoping they kind of got something in store for that. Just something to go along instead of just, hand the title off to the next upcoming guy.
The match itself, I thought was good, maybe even great, but I really expected it to be a match of the weekend contender, and it wasn't really.
Nothing was except AJ and Cena. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, everything kind of underwhelmed me, to be honest. I mean, everything, again, good, even great, but not, stellar, second biggest event of the year stuff.
Oh man! All right, everybody, hold their butts because we might be called Meltzers in a minute here. No Misawa, no Japan Dome here. Give it all the American 3 stars.
Meltzer was throwing out 4 stars here and there and everywhere.
These were some
no Tokyo Dome.
Damn good matches, though, that he was giving those ratings to.
Well, yeah,
to me, it feels not as great because it came after one of the best tag matches I've seen in a very long time. And one of the hardest hitting, just really good women's matches. And it took a little bit of that factor because they're such hard hitting dudes themselves, Nakamura and Joe, that maybe they should have put the women's match and then the tag match but even still, it's just tough to follow up such good matches.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And especially when you don't have anything in between. Bobby should have gone second to last. Because that would have been glorious. God damn it. All right. We're moving on. We're going to go to SummerSlam. We're going to do the pre-show. Let's blow through these guys. American Alpha, Hypros, and the Usos defeated Breezango, Ascension, and the Vaudevillains. 12-man tag match to start things off.
Waste of time.
Wasted time.
Only thing it did was set up
congratulations.
Only thing it did was set up the eventual SmackDown Dime Belt Tag Title match down the line.
Right. And by the way, how about the difference between the Vaudevillains 1 year ago when they debuted on the on the big stage, if you would, because they were in NXT last year, and then this year it's it's the Vaudevillains. Wah, wah.
My biggest issue with that is they got rid of the curtain entrance, which I really liked, and now they just got rid of it. They're like, you're irrelevant now. Just
because they're always they're never in a match where it's just them and another team, and then they actually both teams get an entrance. It's either a multi-man match, multi-team match, or they come back from commercial and they're already in the ring.
I think the last time they had that entrance in particular was their pay-per-view shot against the New Day. It's been a long time.
And really,
that's why you don't get in the fights in car and catering.
I like the dime belts. I actually do like them. I think they look pretty slick.
They look a lot better than the pennies.
Yeah.
Blue and silver is a nice mix.
Even the blue women's looks weird just because, it's the company logo and everything, but the swoosh is still red, and I don't know, it looks a bit off. I don't know. The stones are red and the swoosh is red. But anyway, what I'm saying is...
Twitter it. Basically, the Chaos Emeralds are back for the belts.
Yeah.
The Cruiserweight's going to be green.
No, the Cruiserweight's going to be purple. Because the Cruiserweight Classic was purple.
Yep, you're right.
By the way, they unveiled that Cruiserweight Classic trophy. They acted like it was a big special thing, and it's really just a tower with a globe on the top of it.
Well, it's even funnier because it's in every single graphic in that entire show. It zooms out in the bracket and then zooms in on the trophy that you've seen 1,000 times already.
Yeah, but expecting Orange County Choppers to not make anything crappy or gaudy, come on now.
I liked it. I like the trophy overall. I think it's retardedly huge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike
it. It looks nice. The globe on top is very nice.
Yeah,
it just looks a little plain to me. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just there.
It's going to be really sad when it's taller than the winner of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who are taller than that, speaking of people who aren't taller than that trophy, rather, Neville and Sami Zayn defeated the Dudley Boys. Bye, Dudleys.
Bye, Dudleys.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye, Dudleys.
Bye, Zayn and Neville, and good luck getting a spot on the show.
Yeah,
I know, right? It's freaking awful for the both of them.
It's really sad to see Sami Zayn buried like this. He's basically a reincarnation of Dolph Ziggler, unfortunately.
He's not even buried. He's just unused.
They just don't do any. They're just not. They have too many people in the pipeline that aren't him. And honestly, they really tease me. I thought they honestly had me thinking that Sammy was going to go from the pre-show to the championship when he came out and on Raw and interrupted Rollins.
Yeah, he was the very, very best person to come out there.
And then, of course, everybody else came out and he lost his match. So.
Sammy really, 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 really needs to go to SmackDown. They desperately need a top kind of baby face that's credible and can put on some good matches. AJ. Yeah, Matt too.
AJ. Whatchamacallit. But yeah, poor NXT champions, Neville and Sami Zayn. Poor pre-show, and then you got fucking whatchamacallit, Mr. I'm the first NXT champion, in the main event. No respect, man. Just absolutely ridiculous.
And then the other NXT champion gets to drink formaldehyde.
Right, exactly. And then you're just NXT.
The other champion gets to lose to the first Chinese superstar.
And then the guy who should have been champion, but they didn't want to put the belt on him, is stuck in a 12-man pre-show. I mean, there are so many spots on the top, and it just seems to be ballooning outwards. It's disgusting. Moving on, Sheamus defeated Cesaro to go 1-0 in the Best of 7 series. Who wins the Best of 7 series?
Who cares?
Cesaro.
I mean, I care that it's Cesaro, but
have they confirmed that this is for a WWE Red Belt Championship shot?
They said it's for a shot, but they didn't specify what.
What title? So it could be a U.S. title shot.
It could be a tag title shot.
Could be a women's title shot. Like, if it was the world title or if the U.S. title shot, maybe. But who gives a fuck?
Did you hear the promo that Cesaro cut after Raw where he was absolutely fuming over the fact that he wasn't in the tournament title picture? He's like, I should be, wrestling for this. I should be wrestling those guys, but instead I'm stuck in a Best of 7 with Sheamus because ? Like, Cesaro his jimmies are legit rustled over this, and I don't blame him. It's like,
I would be. I'd be rustled.
Yeah,
and I bet you he gets traded to SmackDown too. Which would be great.
Good. Please send him there. He'll be so much happier.
Trade him to SmackDown to go against AJ.
You know what's funny is, if this was on SmackDown, I might actually be interested because they would give these two some time to tell a story, and it might be for the Intercontinental Championship.
I would make it the number one for the WWE.
I'd rather see that, but I'm also trying to be somewhat realistic in the fact that those two are probably not going to get those shots.
I think he should ask for his release, go back to Chikara, and then turn up in New Japan to challenge Kenny Omega as leader of the
You just want to see the BDK back together, man.
He's the professional versus the cleaner.
Oh, man. Omega, why do you make me want things? I gotta wait until mid-2017 before Omega shows up in WWE. You know that's gonna happen.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
I'll be sure to help you little people once I get there.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say the Sheamus Cesaro series just never goes anywhere, and they drop the gimmick.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, it's not going to continue like this.
All right, I'm going to rapid fire this stuff. Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens defeated Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Okay.
Sets up.
Can't win in your hometown.
Yeah. It was fine.
Charlotte defeating Sasha Banks to win the women's title. Poor Sasha. Poor her neck.
Listen,
I'm so pissed I called this, and I knew it was going to fucking happen, and it still
You
pissed
son of
me
a
off.
bitch. You did.
Really bad match.
But listen, that's the thing. This was to me, this was the most mesmerizing match of the weekend because just the fact that, well, first there was the early botch we were talking about where they go into what was it they were trying to do, and Sasha just lands.
We don't even know. That's the thing.
It was a backbreaker on the top turnbuckle.
Right. And then, because, sometimes they do that move where the one girl is kind of strung against the corners, and then Sasha, gives her the knees or the boots, to her stomach going down. There was a lot. It was such a nasty match, messy, nasty match. In both respects, nasty in the fact that it was like hard hitting, and they kept trying all these moves in the corner and the top rope, and each one just looked like it shouldn't have been done because it just looked nasty. And then nasty in the respect that things were just kind of sloppy and the stuff on the ground wasn't really working. And Sasha, I honestly thought Sasha was injured because she must have been acting a really good act job, because she was like when she would hurl Sasha against the ropes and then, try to stand up, but kind of fell to her knees like she couldn't stand up all the way.
Well, she's leaving because of a back injury, and the way she landed, her head and her neck obviously hurt, but that twists your back up too. She probably knew that going into the match, so that was probably the idea, is like work on targeting it. And I don't even disagree with the spot because I think Charlotte is tall enough to do it, but I think they just need to tone it down like just a touch. I
think they were really going for it in this match, and a lot of it didn't work. Like when Charlotte went for natural selection, and it looked like it connected, but Sasha reversed it into the bank statement anyway. In fact, it did connect, but Sasha kind of no-sold it and reversed it into the statement.
I was so fucking scared when they did that Razor's Edge off the second rope to Hurricane Rana. Like, you already dropped this chick on her head, and you're supposed to be trusted with that, and that's 10 times a crazier spot than anything that happened in the Bayley versus Asuka match, right?
And Sasha dropped herself on her head again.
Yeah. And Bayley and Asuka had a far better match. You don't have to do these insane spots.
Well, I appreciate
making a great match. I
appreciate that they did it, but the problem is after that first corner botch, the gear just got like shafted all the way back to first gear, and then it just never stopped.
Right.
Like they were trying to do them, but they just couldn't pick up the pace. They couldn't.
Well, that's because Sasha got dropped on her fucking head. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Maybe, adjust.
Miz versus Cruz. We already talked about that.
Burial.
Styles versus Cena. Awesome match.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Pretty easily match of the weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, if any match gets the distinction, it's probably this one. They told the story that all of their previous interactions hinted at, but never really came out with, that being Cena trying new stuff, Styles kicking out of Styles' moves, Styles using Cena's moves, and Cena kicking out. AJ just having that edge throughout the match.
This is also the first time I might have a horrible memory, but this is the first time I remember seeing Styles use was it the Tiragusu, the knee drop from the shoulders with Cena. That's the first time I've seen it used in WWE in a long time, especially from Styles.
Yep.
A nice moveset change.
I just like the ending, to be perfectly honest with you, because apparently Cena's supposed to go away for a long while now to go film his thing, but now AJ's wearing the headband everywhere, the armband headband thing everywhere, and it's great. Oh, that's so good. It's like taking off Cena's head and wearing it.
It's an armband, and I think that speaks to just how big fucking Cena's arms must be that he can wear that fucking thing around his goddamn head.
Well, and it also it perfectly introduced WWE to what AJ Styles is all about, is that Cena kept hitting him and hitting him and hitting him, and the commentators really pounded this home. It's just like, this is exactly like what opponents feel when they're facing John Cena. It's the whole idea is that he's facing the other guy from the other company who is him. And they really like hit that home in this match, and I thought that was really cool. Fits in with the quintessential Georgia Bulldog, to steal a Morrow phrase.
There you go. Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe it. Gallo and Anderson defeated the New Day by disqualification. God damn it, Big E! Why couldn't you just let the fucking Gallo and Anderson beat them, please?
Well, they had to do the whole Stewart plug and everything.
I bet you they're going for the demolition record. 450 days, by the way.
Okay, so
I think they'll get it before then.
So why didn't Big E swallow his thing, or why didn't he shove it in his trunks instead of like sipping the formaldehyde?
It's not formaldehyde.
I know it's a pickled egg.
Yeah,
it's just vinegar water at the best.
It's a pickled egg and vinegar, but still, why didn't he like eat the egg or like shove the egg down his pants to take his balls back?
Have it because Brock was there and Randy Orton was there at the same time. That may not have been vinegar water. It might have been something a little more acidic. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Brock misses eggs.
Do you think he knew that and drank it intentionally just to be like, fuck you guys? Because if that's the case, if that's the case, I have a whole new respect for Big E, that he would see that shit and just be like, fuck you, and drink it anyway.
Yeah, I guess they really just wanted to piss off the segment,
All right, Gallows and Anderson and the dude.
We already did that.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Ambrose and Ziggler.
The biggest disappointment of the night.
Absolutely. The way they built this match up, I thought it was going to be like Lesnar Goldberg 2. Instead,
it was Lesnar Goldberg 1.
Well, it was closer to Apollo Miz for me. Just a match that didn't really do anything, and Ziggler lost in unspectacular fashion once again. Like, the whole point of the storyline was Ziggler can't do it, and then he didn't do it.
Oops.
Well,
not only did he not do it, but he it was one finisher, right? That's it.
Yep.
Just take the double arm DDT.
It's his DDT, and Dean's DDT is so protected these days. It's not even funny. So it's not surprising.
JBL throughout this match said 4 times, you can only see the most prestigious championship, the WWE World Championship, on SmackDown. And he said it more times than I was excited by this match.
Yes.
Ouch. It's sad because this should have been a fantastic match.
Told you. I mean,
it really should have been match of the weekend the way it was.
And it was really just Raw match, SmackDown match.
Exactly.
It wasn't even SmackDown caliber. This was main event.
It's just sad because both of these guys can go. We know they can go, and then this is what we get instead.
Speaking of disappointment, Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Bella defeat Carmella, Naomi, and Becky Lynch. Naomi's gear looks great. Becky's Sting is Irish Sting. Irish last Sting, to be perfectly honest. And Natalya is Natalya. Hi, Natalya. Alexa looks like she belongs. And, oh boy, guys, Nikki Bella.
Best forearm in the business.
Oh, God.
Yo, let's go this way. Let's bust no balls here. We won't need to hear Brie mode anymore.
Oh,
I'm just happy about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it could be worse.
And is it just me, or does Alexa's shorts get shorter every pay-per-view?
I'm okay with this.
I hope it's not just you.
Every second I look at her, I'm like, where are those going? It's great. Especially live, by the way.
It's amazing that Alexa Bliss has been there like 3 weeks and she's already carrying the division. That's kind of
Yes.
She carried both of these girls.
She's fitting in so well. That's what I meant by that. It's exactly what I meant by that.
I'm sure this match would have been on the pre-show if it wasn't for Nikki's big return.
Yeah,
exactly.
It
will be next month, though. It will be next month. Watch. Finn Balor defeated Seth Rollins to become the first Universal Champion. What a hell of a match.
Good, not great for me.
Honestly, I thought it was great before I found out that Finn got hurt so bad in the middle of the match, popped his shoulder back in, and then still
that's very
excellent match.
Yeah, what a fucking badass.
He is a trooper.
He may be out, okay, we've talked a lot of gloom and doom about all this with Finn, and it sucks, and Raw's going to suck for a long time. But the reality of this is, this may be a very good situation for him purely for the fact that he looks strong as fuck. He just disappears for a while and they can't fuck him up. And he's going to show up again right around the Royal Rumble. It really is perfect timing to have really good things happen when he comes back.
I mean, if you're going to get hurt, this is the best time frame because, like you said, it's right. Come back before the Rumble or at the Rumble or at least before WrestleMania and kind of reclaim some of your spot. But like I said, good, not great for me. I thought they worked really hard and they were a lot more energetic than Ziggler and Ambrose, but nothing stood out to me really. It all kind of felt like their first match together. Not necessarily.
Yeah. It felt like it was going to be the first of two matches. It felt like this was going to be something, and then by Clash of Champions, it was going to be the exact same thing again, but a little more, upbeat.
Well, hold on. Let me put it this way to you. The plans for Baylor were to defend the title against Kevin Owens at the Clash of Champions, and then the finish for that would have been Owens, Jericho, and Baylor in a three-way in Boston.
Oh,
it was really sad because Baylor and Jericho is actually a dream match I've had for a very long time. So
that'd be great. I hope that happens.
He was supposed to have it with Jericho at SummerSlam before they decided to go whole hog with making him the champ.
And that ended up being the best thing for him, considering everything that happened. Because the second he comes back, that's what he's going to be known for: is that match, that performance, and that toughness. And the
demon. And we don't have to overexpose the demon before WrestleMania.
Oh my God, amazing.
And he won't have to carry around that cranberry belt.
Nakamura's pants?
Yeah.
All right.
No, honestly, what do you think of that belt? Real quick, what do you think of that belt?
Fruit roll-ups.
Kane's old masks.
See, I thought it was the women's title, and one of the girls was having their.
It's Eva Marie's version of the women's belt.
Yeah, if you told me it was Eva's belt, like Eva Marie's belt, and like she was going to take that for the women's division, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, moving on.
Dog heard me.
Moving on. Rusev versus Roman Reigns never happened. So we don't need to talk about it. Thank God.
It happened on the Raw before.
I was actually angered by this. It was bullshit. Because
you saw the entire match on the Raw before.
I didn't want to see the match. I didn't want to see the match. I just didn't like that. That's what they decided to do with Rusev.
That Rusev attacks Roman before the match and gets like 3 shots in, and then Roman destroys him with a chair for 10 minutes.
And Roman is not the goddamn babyface in this situation either.
Right.
He's a total asshole. He shows up and ruins their fucking wedding day celebration, like on Raw, starts a fight, shoves the guy's wife into a cake. Of course he's going to be pissed about that. And then, like, progressively... everything that Roman has done is the type of shit that, like, your drunk uncle that nobody likes and can't figure out how he keeps like even being invited to events. Like that's Roman Reigns.
He invites himself.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he invites himself, and then he gets really drunk, and then fondles your 14-year-old cousin.
Whoa. Brock Lesnar defeated Randy Orton by TKO.
No personal experiences there or anything.
We talked
What a
about this
weird
earlier.
finish.
But yeah, I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. That's all I can really say about it.
I think
It was a fine match before that. The finish was just very sudden. Very, very, and that was the whole point.
Yeah.
Get it.
Right.
Well, I mean,
it's still it was effective in the fact that I still have the image blurred in my head of Randy Orton, just literally a fountain coming out of his forehead and a pool forming on the mat of blood. And it was just fucking brutal.
He was bleeding faster than Eddie at Judgment Day, but after I saw the cut on his head when they did the staples, I could imagine why.
Brock is a fucking monster, and this is the way that like a monster like Brock should be booked. He should just be
agree and disagree
fucking
at the same time.
Destroying everything that gets in the way. Well, now eventually, of course, we're going to have the babyface that finally comes along and has been able to stop him. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm kind of excited for that. In the meantime, though, he needs to be destroying guys, even established guys like Randy Orton, because that just makes him look even more unstoppable.
Wait, stay with me on this one.
On Strowman that makes people bleed.
Okay, did it need to be in the main event?
No.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, sure, you could have had it earlier in the card, but it doesn't really. I don't think it mattered.
I'm very disappointed Goldberg didn't come out.
Yeah,
Goldberg had knee surgery 6 weeks ago.
I know, but I'm just saying. Considering it was the main event,
come out with his leather jacket,
come out on the stage and point, and then
you're next.
You end.
He could have speared him, I think. And Lesnar could have sold it
6 weeks ago.
He can walk, can he? But anyway. Here's the I think I understand why they did this finish. A lot of people before this match were saying, I'm kind of tired of Suplex City. I'm tired of the shtick. I'm kind of over Lesnar, a lot of, especially with the UFC 200 stuff, the drug test stuff. It's like, does he even draw money anymore? He has the same match every time. Some suplexes, beats the guy down. And I think this was their way of kind of responding to that and saying, well, look, this guy is still our attraction, and look what he can do. And now, look tune in for what happens next.
One of the most off-putting things about this match was after the RKO onto the table with Tonga saying, "Oh, it would have helped Randy more if the table had collapsed." I'm like, that's the point of the spot. It has never collapsed when he's done an RKO onto an announce table. Jesus.
My main problem with this is that basically it was Brock leaning on Randy for about 10 minutes, and then Brock cut him open. It doesn't make him look dominant to me. It makes him look like a desperation move. That's my problem.
It makes it look like a UFC fight. What? Lean on him for 10 minutes and then light him up at the end?
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right, I'm hungry. And
Jesus Christ, because this was some ice cream.
My blood sugar's getting low. I need a blizzard.
All right, it's time. Time for the right segment noise. Derek, you can drive through. Here with the ratings, it's going to be Vassar.
Okay, and it is now time for the ratings. Starting off as usual is TNA Impact, which drew 355,000 viewers, up from the 315,000 the week previous. Raw drew 3.315 million, up from the 2.915 million the week previous. And finally, SmackDown drew 2.714 million, up from the 2.471 million the week previous. And that's all for the ratings.
So the ratings this week, by the way, the upswing you'll see is two reasons. Number one being the fact that it's not Olympics, And number 2, we're just getting off of SummerSlam. So the Raw rating is going to pop a bit, and the SmackDown rating is still going to pop. But, I think that the SmackDown rating is going to stay right around that number, and the Raw rating is going to dip right back down to the 3 million mark, right around there.
Yeah.
So we will see what happens next week.
The NFL
SmackDown
coming up
is
here.
fantastic.
Oh, the NFL.
Yeah, I was going to say Monday Night Football is very, very close.
I'm waiting for SmackDown to outrate Raw because of the NFL.
Week 2.
Will naturally, because SmackDown's a better show right now by a long shot.
I give it till week 2 before SmackDown outranks Raw with ratings. Week 2.
It's weird. It's weird they have a weaker roster overall, but they're putting on a better show.
It's the 2 hours, man. I'm telling you. It's those 2 hours. Birthdays. Dog.
Alrighty. Happy birthday. Let's round out this month of August. Happy birthday. Rest in peace on the 25th to the one and only Crash Holly. A happy birthday also to Ivan Koloff and David Young, TNA Megastar, on the 25th. Happy birthday on the 26th to another actual TNA megastar, Petey Williams. Hell yeah. And also happy birthday to Bobby Duncan Jr. Happy birthday on the 27th to Jazz, the Great Khali, Milano Collection AT, and Sergeant Slaughter. That's another Dream Survivor Series team right there. Happy birthday on the 28th to Ricky Reyes and Christina Von Eerie. Happy birthday on the 29th to Sin Bodhi. I believe that he used to be Kizarni, right?
Correct.
Yeah, happy birthday to that strange motherfucker. Happy birthday on the 30th to Scott Stanford and to Donkey Lips' mom's Anal Angie McGarglestains. Must be Irish. Happy birthday on the 31st to Jeff Hardy, Mickey James.
He's not even here.
Solar.
Wait. Delete.
He's at NXT.
Delete.
Happy birthday on the 31st to Mickey James and Tank Tulland. The only 2 people who have birthdays on the 31st.
Brother Nero, I knew you'd come.
I'd just like to say I really appreciate the fans on SmackDown, because when the Hardys were mentioned, the crowd started chanting delete and wiping their arms to the side. I really appreciated that.
The chants.
Oh, man.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, this weekend, wrestling history. Circa 1964, where Carl and Kurt von Brauner defeat Alvarez and Tojo Yamamoto for the Mid-America NWA World Tag Team title in Memphis, Tennessee. This began their 3rd reign. Jump to 1981, where Jerry Lawler defeats the Dream Machine in a no disqualification match for the AWA Southern Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee to begin his 24th reign. The same show, Bugsy McGraw defeats Steve Keirn to win the NWA Mid-America Heavyweight title. And in 1999, Triple H beat Mick Foley on Raw to win the WWF Championship for the first time. And in 2000, Lita defeats Stephanie McMahon to capture the WWF Women's Championship in the first ever main event on Raw to feature solely a women's match. And in 2001, Kurt Angle crashes Stone Cold's Appreciation Night on Raw with the infamous milk truck bath.
One of the best things ever to happen.
And in 2002, WWE SummerSlam was held at Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, and of course featured Brock Lesnar defeating The Rock to win the WWE Undisputed Championship, and Shawn Michaels returning to fight Triple H in an unsanctioned street fight. Of course, not many people remember that it also featured The Undertaker versus Test with interference from the Un-Americans. And that was this weekend. Wrestling history.
Are you sure?
That was one of my favorite things in the whole world.
Yes, that was it.
the Lita defeating Stephanie McMahon thing, because I remember watching that live, and I thought it was really impressive that they actually did that. That was a huge deal at the time, way bigger than the Divas Revolution that's happening right now. And the 2001 segment with Kurt Angle and Stone Cold is quite possibly one of the funniest things on the whole planet, because Kurt Angle covered in milk is just hilarious and slightly homoerotic, but hilarious nonetheless. Happy Trails to Kevin Fertig, a.k.a. Kevin Thorne, who claims that since the inception of the WWE Network, royalty checks have dropped significantly. He mentions that he used to get about $2,000 to $3,000 per quarter, but he ended up only getting $67 for his latest.
All right, let's give everyone a second to guess who the next Happy Trails bit is going to be about.
Not Sunny.
John Cena?
Well, it's Kevin Thorne, so I can only assume Shelly Martinez, right?
Close enough.
Goddamn.
Happy Trails Sunny avoided jail time over her 3 DUI-related charges from last year, given credit for her rehab stint. She still has 5 years of parole with bi-weekly alcohol testing, 120 hours of community service, and about $2,100 in fines. So I bet she's going to be cuddling up a little bit more of those cons, and maybe doing a port or two to cover that $2,100. Hopefully she stays sober. Good luck for her. All right, Jesus Christ. Let's do some what we watched this week in wrestling. No bullshit, no anything. Just give me the match name. Want to call your name?
I look forward to watching Where the Sunny Don't Shine.
Oh, for the love of fuck!
Oh, God, please no.
It's always sunny inside of Phil. Oh, Jesus. All right. Yank and DDS, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
I don't think I'm going to watch any more wrestling this week. I'm kind of burnt out. I'm going to give it some time off. So how about instead, I'm going to watch. Oh, I know, The Chaperone.
Oh dear, oh my God, oh God, why?
Oh, because I hate myself.
WC Masters, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
You.
I'm going to recommend that this week, much like I recommended a couple weeks ago, you watch Braun Strowman kill another local competitor, because the ongoing story of Braun Strowman killing people is just getting funnier and funnier to me.
Basser, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
I'm going to go with Rich Swann versus Lince Dorado.
Oh, God, yes. All right, that's exactly what it should be. Dog, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Stole my shit. I don't think this was actually mentioned last week, so I'm gonna not this most recent, but the one before that, Cruiserweight Classic Tournament. Another good one, Jack Gallagher and Akira Tozawa.
Okay, and Omega?
I'm going to say Banks versus Charlotte from SummerSlam, because it was like I said, it was just mesmerizing to watch how they went through it, knowing that she wasn't injured, or at least not by the match. That's not why she's out or anything, but just the effort, if nothing else.
Courtney, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
I'm actually going to suggest this Monday on Ring of Honor as the Young Bucks from the Bullet Club take on the Addiction, Frankie Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels for the tag titles. It's going to be awesome.
I'm going to suggest the only match from the ROH pay-per-view that I actually enjoyed that wasn't Dalton Castle, and that's going to be the world title match between Adam Cole, rather. Sorry, Adam Cole and Jay Lethal. Because the story leading into it and the match itself paid off well, and I enjoyed it. And it was probably beyond that and the Dalton Castle match. That's pretty much all I enjoyed about ROH this week.
And you might as well throw in the part where Hangman Page did his, I think, sacrificial into the table, and a piece of the table went through his knee and lacerated his knee. It was a brutal but glorious moment.
Yes, indeed.
It was disgusting but glorious.
All right. Thank y'all for listening. You can check us out online, smarksnark.com, twitter.com/smarksnark, facebook.com/smarksnark, patreon.com/smarksnark, 812-408-9666 or
Woo.
You see how much wrestling we were watching this week, guys? You could Serious Podcast on Skype if you want to, chime in or something like that, or leave us a message.
Don't type
SRS Podcast.
SRS. Type SRS, because if you type Serious, then you're probably going to get, I don't know,
something else. And that's it. So, for everybody here, from a very brutal SummerSlam weekend, we thank y'all for listening and sticking with us for the 2 hours the show is gone. So take care. Spike your hair.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You know it.
A good night, Clute.
You're going to go watch My Little Pony, Yankum?
Is that what we're calling the porno I made with your mom now?